This is your announcer, Shannon Saint Mainframe, welcoming you to our IP Livecast. It's 2022. Time to take a ride on the wild side. And by wild side, I mean listen to aging weirdos babbling incoherently into microphones for 90 minutes. Wait. You thought I was talking about Vince Neil and Motley Crue? I meant our IP Livecast. And it starts now.
Welcome! We are here. It is January 18th, 2022, and we're so happy to be with you. And Rob here with Sid. Say hello, Sid.
Hello, Sid.
And Darren.
Hello, Sid.
Ramona. Hanging out.
Ramona the cat. And we have a very special guest. Alex Skolnick is here.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hello, Alex. Thank you so much for taking some time to talk to us here.
What's happening?
I want to take a quick moment to let people know if you want to be a part of the show, you can just dial 213-WIDE-NUT, 213-943-3688. And, Alex, once again, thank you so much for taking some time hanging out with us here. We played your rap song on our show last week.
I'm well aware. Yeah.
And we had some thoughts. And so we have all the respect in the world that you're on here to us to talk about your budding rap career. And so you released a few rap songs about the current political movement. And I'm just curious, let's get right into it. How did you get the idea to do this?
Okay, well, I got to make some corrections from.
Okay, let's really get into this.
Okay, so the first one was it was called Trump Sucks.
Right.
It was not fuck Trump. So
okay, there was no cursing. All right.
The first thing you guys said, the guy, he can't not curse. He's got to call it. No, it's
which one of us is that? I guess that's
that might have been me, I think. I swear you did say fuck Trump at some point, though. Am I wrong?
He
just said it.
No,
it may not have been the title, but I could have sworn you said, all right, I apologize. I retract that statement.
Go,
Darren,
okay, do
Darren, would you have liked the song more if he had said that?
Well,
is that the deal breaker for you?
I fully am on board 100% with the sentiment of fuck Trump. I think I don't object to that. I think like sort of promoting the alternative to Trump is not like really doing any good. That's what I feel. I feel like it's sort of one-sided. I mean, I feel like if it was just fuck Trump, I'd be all on board with that. I hate Trump.
Okay, well, the alternative is kind of all there is, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, that's the problem.
Nowhere.
Well, okay, but we're jumping ahead now.
Okay.
What other
I didn't mean to open
what other
inaccuracies
inaccuracies were there?
Like my use of the word sedition. You guys we're all over that. Like it's completely irrelevant. It has nothing to do. This week
Was it sedition or was it insurrection that we were?
It was insurrection.
It was
I think
both,
it was both.
but it was
Okay.
specifically sedition. There's a line: arrest for sedition.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, this week the Justice Department rolled out charges for sedition.
The Oath Keepers guy for conspiracy, sedition, conspiracy to enact sedition. So not technically sedition.
It's a minor
and to be fair,
technicality.
we recorded before that happened. So at the time, there were no sedition
Right.
charges.
I heard that like the day before.
And really,
that
and
was
really
like the number one trending news topic was sedition. I was just like, yeah.
Well, I guess the point I think the point I was trying to make at the time is that, like, I assume you weren't preaching to the choir. You're trying to open people's minds to the truth. And so,
Well, not really. Not.
That's what I was. So, okay. Well, that was actually going to be
get into.
That was actually going to be one of my questions. Is like who were you targeting with these raps?
Yeah.
Before you answer, can I just say one thing real quick?
Sure.
Rob and I disagreed with that, I think, on the show also. Maybe in a clip that you didn't see, is Rob said he thinks you're trying to convert Republicans. And I said, oh, no, I think you're completely talking to the echo chamber.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, that's fair point. And we can get into all of that. I think some of the intentions of the song are misunderstood. I think a lot of the references are missed. So, for example, there are Frank Zappa references all over the song, and not everybody gets that. It's kind of obvious when I show up at the end dressed as Frank Zappa. But there
Okay,
are
we were wondering about that one.
yeah, but there are also references throughout. So, yeah, some of them are pretty specific. In the guitar solo, it opens up with a melody from a song called Willie the Pimp by Frank Zappa. But you kind of have to be a Zappa head to get that. And then there's a few other things too. But
This is where we needed Noah. She would have been all over that Frank Zappa stuff.
I don't know. I don't think Noah was big into Frank Zappa.
Oh, you
Yeah,
sell
where's
her
Noah?
It's a little
short.
too esoteric for her, I think.
We had a fourth host, Alex, that
Yeah.
first of all is
I
an
think I
enormous
remember that.
fan. Yeah, she's an
Yeah, yeah.
enormous fan of yours. She has like life pursuits that she left the show to go do, but we're still on good terms with her. But she would have
She had to
definitely
get a
nailed-
life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
She had a life, and it precluded her from doing this stupid show anymore. But
That's too bad.
she would. I think she would have been all over the Frank Zappa thing.
So what would, like, when you were doing these, obviously I'm sure it's for fun, but like what was your goal with putting it out? Like, who did you want to reach with these songs?
It's not really to reach anybody.
Okay, you were just doing it for fun, for yourself.
To be honest,
Okay.
these are it's things that I wanted to express, and instead of reacting the way people are reacting to my song, which is going to websites and going into chat rooms and comment sections and replying, I'm just saying it in a song, which of course is getting a lot more attention. But I think it's a more creative way of saying the same types of things that I'm just tempted to tweet and post online.
It's
completely selfish. It's completely it's therapeutic.
Instead of having a blabbermouth headline about you every day about a different political opinion, you're just combining all of them into a song and just getting it all out in one batch, essentially.
Pretty much. And I these headlines seem to happen. I don't make that happen.
Right. I'm
always surprised when it happens. Usually when that does happen, it's in conjunction with somebody much more known than me, like jumping in on the same issue, like D. Snyder or somebody like that.
Right. I do wonder
is
about
D.
that
Snyder
too.
more known than you? I think that's maybe it's
I would think. Yeah, I mean,
definitely.
He was on the Celebrity
Jeez, Rob,
Apprentice.
come
No
on.
offense. No offense.
He's
but
on
he was
Cobra Kai.
He was on
Oh, is
broadcast
he?
television.
Hey, no spoilers. I'm like still season 2 of Cobra Kai. Watch it.
Oh, you got it's great.
So that does
on
have
it.
to be weird where, like, you make some offhanded Instagram comment about Trump or something, and suddenly it's, front page news, where it's just, you're not doing it to be an activist. You're just stating your opinion, and the opinion becomes news. Do you feel like you need to be a little more careful with your opinion online because of that?
Yeah, I'm definitely. I think more about how I word things, for sure, since that happened.
Yeah. I have to say, just even on Metal Injection, when we posted the video, we didn't offer any commentary, positive or negative, just here's what it is. I did notice that, some of the more right-leaning metalheads that visit the website were very unhappy about it and very personally offended that you would do this. And I'm curious, do you get messages from like your management or whatever about that? Like, are you afraid this might somehow affect your day job, so to speak?
Yeah, that's never happened.
Okay.
Look, they know I'm weird. I play a lot of weird music.
Right.
Not just this. I mean, this is just a hobby,
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, it's caused no noticeable effect on the audience of my day job.
Right.
And if anything, I know, just going by my own notifications, my engagement is up, my followers are up.
It's working. I mean, I'm
It's
sure
going
there's
up. Yeah, and I imagine it's less. I think with Testament, because it's probably not noticeable either way.
right.
If the same people that are sort of jumping on board and following me are following the band, that's good. Maybe some of those who are done and hitting unfollow, and maybe they're doing the same for the band, but it's not noticeable.
Mm-hmm.
Have you gotten any recognition from the hip hop world?
No, I am supposed to do
Hot 97 or Breakfast Club? Or
no.
anything?
Yeah.
No, I'm supposed to do some interview that is up for a specifically hip hop focused. I think it's a website. I'm not even sure what it is. I just found out about it. But
It's hip hop injection. Rob runs that one too.
Could
They're
be.
just using you to get to Kimmy G, I think.
But
Oh, yeah.
could be. Well, we got to talk
Who is
about
Kimmy
him
G?
too.
Yeah.
Well, I want to add a question first before we get to Kimmy
Okay.
G. But you said you're doing it to express yourself, and really it's just for fun. There's no real target audience. Do you
Right.
feel like you're filling a void? Like, do you think there's a lack of Trump criticism, or that you are like sort of being a voice of the voiceless for?
I think I'm more of a reminder.
Oh, okay. Oh, people are forgetting that Trump was bad. You're saying?
No, but I understand the feeling burned out by the news, right? Whether you agree with it or not.
Mhm.
I understand information overload. So the things that you might read in in Politico or I'm not even going to say CNN because I get all these comments, dude, you're watching too much CNN. No, it's not. It's not about CNN at all.
Well, from your video, it feels like you watch a lot of Fox because you rattled off those hosts like nothing. Like, you knew the ins and outs of every Fox host.
Well, you can't avoid them. I mean, they're just, they're just everywhere. I don't watch them, but I see clips of what they say sometimes on Twitter.
Yeah.
And it does, just because I'm going after Fox, it's not. I'm certainly not defending CNN, and CNN certainly got a lot of issues. I mean, they have a guy on who is on a chat like this with female reporters from the New Yorker, and he starts pleasuring himself, thinking that
He's tubing it.
Yeah, it's a term for that.
it's tubing. Exactly.
tubing.
Right. Why
Listen,
is
Alex,
that guy on? Like, that's
Alex, this is
insane
your
to me.
opportunity. You could raise all of our profiles if you want to have your own moment.
Yeah. So case in point. Yeah. Right. I think Jeffrey Tube's ridiculous. I think Andrew Cuomo and his brother being the guy on that. Yeah, that was insane. And I think it's great that he's not on. And I think it's great that Andrew Cuomo's not the governor. And people are responding, say, why don't you talk about the Cuomo brothers? Why don't I don't need to. They were held accountable. But
yeah,
I'm
also
talking...
it's a weird political like defense mechanism when you criticize somebody. I feel like to go the other way, it's
Right.
like if you say something about Biden, criticize Biden, and people are like, "Oh, so you just want Trump back?" And it's like, what? Two people could be bad. Like I'm not.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not like I'm coming at it from the left. Like he needs to be more progressive, and they're like, "Oh, so you're a Republican now?" Like, no.
Well, I think a lot of people also internalize the idea that they're like the Democrats are like this linchpin holding democracy together, and if you criticize them, you damage them politically, and then Republicans will win. So you're a traitor. That's
a good point.
a way of like getting nobody to ever be critical of anything.
Yeah, and that's not good either. I don't know what the answers are. I think there's a huge false equivalence of, and I don't want to harp on Trump or anything. I know, there's nothing I could say that hasn't been said.
Yeah.
But we're talking about somebody. He called up the Secretary of State of Georgia and said, "Find me votes. I don't care what you do. Move. It's like the movie The Producers. Move a few decimal points. Bloom. Yeah."
I just want to say you've got half of an album about Trump already. I think you're harping. Let's just be real. No
Definitely
offense.
an EP.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just, this is a guy who did. Okay, that's like worse than Watergate. Like, how is he like walking free? That should, to me, that's
Sure.
So criminal, calling the head of state's elections and saying commit fraud. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, he tells the whole country, "I only lost because of fraud. I didn't lose. I won." But, it's insane. And I think the fact that anybody is defending him is insane. And this is why I had to write the song.
Yeah, I don't defend Trump at all. The only thing we mentioned this also, I don't know how deep you watched the clip. It was about 7 minutes, but
I didn't. I heard the audio. And I might have missed some of it.
We also said,
and I was cracking up. By the way, I was very entertained, and that part of it is
nice.
I am entertained by the reactions to it. So.
Well, one of the things that we kind of briefly touched on was the fact that Trump tweeted a bunch of bullshit that he didn't really lose, and he's really the president. And then a lot of people, including you and your song, go on to then say, Hillary Clinton didn't really lose because Russians tampered with the election and Facebook. I mean, to me, as neither a Democrat nor a Republican, I see both of those claims as equally ridiculous.
Okay, I think she really lost, so that's the difference.
Okay, so we weren't clear on that, whether you believe that or not. It seems to me people who make both the one argument and not the other are a little hypocritical. But if you're outside of that, then you deserve credit for that.
Oh, thank you for acknowledging it. That's the thing too, and if you have a question like that, it's not clear in the song. I understand the song doesn't answer that question, but yeah, I think she lost. I think it was a perfect storm in a lot of ways. I think the Comey letter didn't help. That didn't cause her to lose, but it didn't help. I think the hacking didn't help. There was hacking. I don't think it wasn't some sinister thing where Trump's sending messages to them and controlling the hack. Trump was not the puppet master.
Well,
but he did have this history with Russia, and there is a troll farm in Russia, and this.
We have great puppets, folks. They're fabulous.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe how great great puppets we have.
You wouldn't believe.
We love the puppets, don't we, folks?
Yeah. So I actually read. I'm such a political nerd. I read the Mueller report, and this is factual. It's not being, And people argue with me about that. Well, he was found innocent. No. And actually, no, that's not.
Well, but was it? It was a phishing thing, right? Like it was just that Podesta did like one of those, hey, you forgot your password, click this and put your password in here.
Yeah.
And he sent it to one of
that was one thing, yes.
So there was more than that. Because he willingly got phished. So what was the other hacking? I mean, I don't really want to get into the Russia. That's like
right,
such.
I don't want to get into.
You don't, Rob. You're half Russian.
I don't want to get into. Well, you both speak Russian. I'm just gonna say. I like Russian food.
I have a Russian name.
But I do
Russian
want
is more Russian than me.
Skolnic is Russian.
Okay, no. Skolnick is the Russian word for student.
And
also, I'm well aware of Schooly D. It's a tribute to him.
Oh, okay.
And it's that's part of
You're
this.
in on the joke. This is what I was trying to tell everyone. Like you acknowledge the cheesiness of it, right? Like like the funny thing is like the idea that I'm trying to
but this is one thing I've read online, not that you guys said this, but trying to stay relevant.
Yeah, right.
That's what I'm going to do to stay relevant.
Yeah, you're going to do 80s hip hop to stay relevant. That's definitely the relevant hip hop
rap.
sound. But so
and
one
I
line-
love satire, and that's the thing that's like what some people seem to have missed. When I was a kid, there was a show, radio show called the Dr. Demento Show.
Sure. Spawned Weird Al.
It spawned Weird Al, exactly. So when I was a little kid, I remember hearing these accordion songs, and they were hilarious. Another one, Rides the Bus, My Bologna.
the best.
Yeah, and I always dug that, and I always had ideas for songs like that. So that was one of the original inspirations. So people say, "Oh, what you're doing is kind of like Weird Al." Yeah, absolutely. That's a big compliment.
I totally picked up on that.
And then one of my favorites, like nobody remembers this one. There was there was a band. It was these old Jewish guys that did a song. They made fun of Rapper's Delight.
Oh yeah,
right. They called it Kosher Delight, and the name of the band was the Yiddish People. Right, which was a play on the Village People.
yeah.
So
They wear like a headdress and everything.
There was also Two Live Jews.
There was Two Live Jews, exactly.
It was Black
Exactly.
Shabbos, the metal band. Remember Black Shabbos?
Yes, yeah. So,
Alex, are you Jewish?
yeah.
100% Jew. You are on a show with 3 Jews, just so you know.
We are all
Okay,
chosen
l'chaim.
people here.
Zeigesund.
Well, also it's funny because my friend Adam Dubin, who's a video director, he co-directed the Beastie Boys, and he saw the video and said, "I'm keeping up this tradition of nerdy white Jewish rappers."
Well, I got so I'm
and
glad
the same.
you
So
mentioned.
just to finish that thought, the same way, Two Live Jews is a play on Two Live Crew. Skolny D is a play on Schooly D. Even though it's not a Jewish theme, but it's my name, Skolny.
So I'm glad you mentioned the Beastie Boys, because it bleeds into something I was going to say, which is, and my biggest criticism, I had 2 criticisms with the video, and I'll say it to your face. I'm not a hypocrite. I'm polite about it. You're respectful enough to come on our show.
Bring it.
The first thing is the white guy rapping thing. You have to be the Beastie Boys. You have to be Eminem. You got to really bring it. For otherwise, my feeling is don't do it. Sid in the corner of your screen is a big hip hop head. I'm a big hip hop head. Rob is also an aficionado of hip hop. You can't be a white guy and do hip hop unless you're absolutely confident and great at it, is my opinion. That would be the first thing. The second thing would be, I just feel there's no dearth of Trump criticism. I feel like the last 5 years have just been full on. Every late night talk show, there's 3 of them. They do Trump stuff every night.
Right.
Basically, every news show is covering Trump 24/7. The last year has been nonstop, breaking windows at the Capitol stuff. Like, I didn't feel like the world basically needed another Trump hip hop song to dunk on Trump.
He's saying, why aren't you going after Biden?
No, I'm not even saying that. I mean, I feel like that would be filling more of a void, yes, but I'm just saying that specific topic of all the topics I feel has been covered. It's a lane that's full of traffic already.
Okay. Well, okay. So for one thing, it is satire. I think when you're doing satire, you don't have to be as good as the Beastie Boys or Eminem. I think you get some right. That should count for something. I thought Andy Samberg did some pretty funny rap stuff on SNL. Was he as good as Eminem? I don't think so. I think it's okay.
I mean, nowadays maybe modern day Eminem.
I mean,
and also,
okay
I
that's
don't think
just
anybody.
Darren's take.
I'm not trying to be compared to those guys. And the guy who mixed the song, his name is Johnny Nice. He's actually a real pop and rap producer, and he seemed to really dig the song. I've spoken to others in the music industry. I'm not going to name everybody, but they seem to think it's good. It's like it's nothing. They like it. So maybe it's personal taste. I understand if you're going to compare it to, okay, you got to be as good as Eminem, who's like arguably one of the greatest of all time. Well, okay. And I would agree with you if I'm trying to launch a rap career, which I am not trying to do.
Alice, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I think you're a world-class guitarist. I love Testament. I have nothing but respect for musicianship. I do not think you're a rapper. I'm sorry. I'll say it to your face.
That's okay.
Well, I will say
that's your opinion, and I respect your opinion.
In the Twitch, we have El Dorino saying that Alex is the Lil Dicky of metal. So you have one fan.
That's very funny.
I want to mention
people were comparing it. Sorry,
sorry,
people are comparing it to the guy from the Ramones who did a rap song. He was really trying to launch a rap career though, and he was like really into it. So,
yeah, that was very sad.
I'm not trying to call up Tommy Boy or anything.
Yeah, and look, I am. It's kind of a different. What I am doing, I do genuinely. Like I grew up on the Run DMC and the Beastie Boys and stuff. I never thought about doing the music. It was always stuff for fun. In the San Francisco Bay Area, we all listen to all types of music. You can ask Gary Holt, for example, somebody who was in a few years older, but he was in that same scene, and everybody's really open musically. So, I am paying tribute to them, but it's Dr. Demento, it's Weird Al, it's especially Zappa. So it's
I mean, I definitely, now that you mentioned the Zappa, I absolutely noticed it. Like there's a jazz break, like a jazz solo, like 20 seconds into the song or whatever. And so, that totally makes sense.
Well, there's also little sound effects, right? There's when I mentioned QAnon, there's the Twilight Zone theme.
Oh yeah.
Which I played on my Stratocaster.
Well, there's one line that really offended me where you said that you used to be the party of Nancy and Ronald.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, Ronald Reagan is one of the, if not the worst president of all time. Yeah. So like, that's not a compliment. Like that was when I lost, I was certainly exaggerating for the show, but that was the part where I was like, no.
But also, they still are the party of Reagan. I mean, this is like the 11th,
it's not really
presidential term of Ronald Reagan.
It's a little different though. So
did you think Ronald was a good president? Do you think was Reagan a good president? Like, or was that just
no? But
the meter?
It's a different level. He's not going to call up and say, "I need you to find me votes." You know what I mean? He lost several elections. But accepted the bar is really low here.
Is that really the most important thing of the stance that a president can take? I mean, like Ronald Reagan ignored
the transfer of
AIDS
power,
and killed 2-3 million people just.
I don't know. He's one of the worst of all time. But and again, this is a very low bar. But accepting the transfer of power is really, really important. Trump did not accept the transfer of power. When he lost.
I guess to me,
he was going to do this in 2016. He even said this. He's like,
but the Democrats did it in 2016. The Democrats launched a 5-year delegitimized the election campaign. I mean, they basically listen. It's not a defense of Trump. I think Trump's a piece of shit, but he won, and all they did was Hillary Clinton did it. She went on every news channel and said how Trump.
She accepted the
conceded
results,
the election.
Yeah, she conceded.
Difference.
I mean, to me, it's like he did so many terrible things, Trump, that like by this point, it's like just kind of like who cares? Like I get what you're saying, and I understand the importance of it, but there's so many things he did bad that are overlooked that that I feel take precedence over that.
As Jews, let us consider Charlottesville.
Sure.
These people chanting "Jews will not replace us."
No, I agree. That was a very bad moment. and
none of this is a defense of Trump.
I'm not.
Like his enabling of those people is certainly far worse than any of this.
I want
Yeah,
to
and
do
it's
quick.
it had to continue. I mean, there's so many of those moments. Yeah, Proud
Right.
Boys.
Yeah.
Stand back, stand by. You know what I mean?
Stand back and stand by.
Sure, but I mean, you
But
got
also,
Joe,
I mean,
Joe
I will
Biden's
say
like building new like child prisons and stuff to throw Latino orphans into. I don't know that he's necessarily the civil rights king to.
It's a
replace
little
Trump, you know?
different though. He's not gonna. He does not have fans among these.
I mean,
Yeah,
to me,
Biden has no
the
fans.
policy matters.
Reagan
Yeah,
did not
everyone
have
hates Biden.
fans among the neo-Nazis.
Yes, he did.
No,
He
absolutely
must
did.
have.
Not like
He
this.
must have. Well, they were quieter about it. That's the
they
real
were-
difference, is that Reagan knew how to put a good face on all this stuff, and Trump
Yes,
just says it.
yes. Thank you, Sid.
That's the real difference.
Trump-
but they were all after the same stuff. Trump's
Trump
just more
is
brazen,
Reagan with
and
the
that's why he
mask
failed
on.
at most of it.
That's a fair point. But I still think it's worse because at least, and again, it's the lowest possible bar.
Yeah.
Reagan's
Yeah.
horrible, but at least he could accept, losing, and if he would not say to a crowd at a rally, all these reporters, they're terrible people, they're sick, this is what Trump does.
Well, the reporters were nicer to Reagan than they were to Trump, but also
sure.
Reagan
For good
never
reason.
lost as president, so he never had the opportunity to try to steal an election.
Good point. And Reagan also
won.
fucked with a lot of elections
Yeah.
in other countries too,
Yeah.
in Central America and South America.
It's a little different. It's hard to imagine him behaving the same way. And again,
I
it's not to defend him.
And we can move on, but I just had I had one quick thing about the transfer of power, which is, what did Trump really do? He whined impotently on Twitter, like he did a lawsuit that failed. Lawsuit
He
failed.
tried to bully these election officials.
But
did a lot.
all right, I'm not saying that he's innocent. I'm saying what really happened. He lost. He tried to contest it. He lost that. He sued. He lost that, and then he went and played golf in his racist country club, and he hosted a stupid boxing pay-per-view. He's gone. Like
No,
the
now
transfer
he's
of
doing.
the transfer of power has happened.
He just did a rally on Sunday.
Yeah, he talks a lot. That's what Trump
And
does.
you know
Like,
who appeared with him on his rally?
who appeared with him?
People running for that same position.
Mhm.
That the guy he was bullying in Georgia. Like
Mhm.
people who are running for that position in Arizona. So he
Yeah, but I mean-
is
They're trying to
systematically
set up, certainly.
getting.
But I don't think that's just
people-
him. I think that's the whole party, and like they
the
were
whole-
doing
exactly.
This, they were
I think
doing
it's
this
both
before that.
parties. The Democrats have pristine elections. I mean, ask Bernie
There's
Sanders
no
if they have pristine elections.
comparison. Nobody's doing this. Nobody's threatening. Nobody's systematically taking over these local positions. So
I think they're just better
they-
at it. I think the Democrats are just a disorganized mess. They love to cheat when it benefits them. They just don't have the apparatus. They're not on board with each other to pull it off as efficiently. They know when to
you,
stop a
you
leftist.
look at it that way, but this is I'm just going by these are facts. It's a fact that he gave this rally. It's a fact that he's elevating people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, for example.
Mhm.
Mhm.
These are
Some of our finest folks.
exactly.
She's got great cans, people. You gotta love her, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Everybody.
Oh God. So it's
You know that's all he cares about.
it's all these things, and I understand the argument. Well, yeah, Reagan was bad too, but it's what we're seeing now is just a whole other level of disinformation.
I think what Rob's point is, though, like, I was raised to believe Reagan was the devil, and when he died, he would be roasting on the tip of Satan's pitchfork.
Mhm.
And I feel like liberals do this every few years. Like they just they're rehabilitating George W. Bush now and Cheney.
And like Dick Cheney, because
He's our buddy now. Yeah, I
Get the fuck
agree.
outta
That's
here.
pretty.
And so,
That's
and in 6 years, I feel like if if Big Macs and Dr. Pepper don't do Trump in, he will be on the Ellen Show and The View. I feel like he will be rehabilitated, just like all the
Yeah, like if Ron DeSantis is somehow the new nominee, they're gonna be like, oh, remember when we had Trump? At least he was funny.
He was entertaining. He'll go on Twitter when they
yeah.
reinstate his Twitter. He'll just be like, Ron DeSantis is a loser, sad, and then all the liberals, oh my God, Trump! See, he speaks truth to power. I love Trump so much.
We'll see. I mean, I am a bit of a news junkie, and it's not CNN and just MSNBC.
I didn't say anything.
So where to get your news?
Not you, no,
Who do
but
follow?
people online. There's a really good article in the Atlantic, very, it's like scary article about what all the preparations happening for the next couple elections, specifically 2024. And just what's going on there. Like nobody has reached that level yet. It's just Trump. That's why I think he's way beyond Reagan, beyond Nixon. So I'm not going to change any minds with the rap song, but I feel like all you can do is laugh about it. And point these things out. I mean, nothing I said in that song isn't true.
Do you have any new songs you're working on currently? Can you give us a little sneak peek?
Not like that. No, they only come every few months, and they're usually inspired by events. So the Trump song, the first one, Trump Sucks, that was right. That was in the run up to the election in 2020. And I had done a social media post, and just the response to it was what inspired that song. Because instead of like just listing all these things, you shouldn't hire your daughter to work, your unqualified daughter to work in the White House.
Agreed.
And all these things I mentioned in that song, I just thought, okay, I'm just gonna put this to music. And I didn't think it would get the attention that it got, but it did, and that's fine. But I should also mention that Kimmy G, my rap partner in this song, we go way back. I mean, we've noticed he's a guy I know. He works in television.
Did he do the Blue Blockers ad that we?
Yeah, we were wondering that last week. He reminded us. Do you remember that infomercial from like the late 80s, early 90s?
I had completely forgotten about it, but once, I remember it now. Yeah,
that wasn't him though.
that was not him. No.
Okay.
I don't know.
No, but he was a neighbor of mine.
Oh.
And he used to work on the Maury Povich show.
Get out of here. Doing what?
Audio.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's like an audio
video guy? He's like a video editor.
We were just talking about, like, in another segment of that same show, about how there used to be. Oh no, it was on our Patreon. It was we did a Judge Steve Harvey episode, and we were talking about how in the Maury show they have people gesticulating wildly, telling the audience how to react to things.
Yeah,
so that to me is the coolest job on the Maury show.
We could wrap it up, and thank you so much for all the time that you've given us about this.
It's fun to talk about it and answer questions. Yeah.
Do you talk to like other metal musicians about politics? Like I'm assuming you're not reaching out to Ted Nugent, but like like obviously there are very varying political points of view. And being so outspoken, do you ever hear from someone who is on the other side or even on the left, and they reach out to you and you guys get into it?
Not that many. It's kind of interesting because I've heard from some that just think, oh yeah, everybody sucks. All politics is bad. The whole media is corrupt. Why don't you talk about the media? Well, I think it's Fox specifically. Everybody I mentioned in that song is part of this text leak people that were in communication with Trump on or around January 6th. So I can't say that about the other media. So I think, it's unfair to tell me just do a song about the whole media. But anyway, I have heard about that. I had an interesting, as far as like somebody known. I mean, usually it's folks that agree with me. I'll be honest. Like usually on Twitter, I've got this whole constituency there, and it's kind of funny. So D is we'll sometimes be on the same tweet thread. I'm sorry, somebody you guys are probably not a fan of, but Tracy Guns of LA Guns.
We have no quarrel with Tracy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why would we? What's the?
I don't know. He's glam metal. He's not exactly.
I like glam metal.
Yeah.
As fan. Yeah. Yeah, and he's he's very active on, and we're in a lot of the same threads. Occasionally it gets interesting because he knows Richard Marx, and we've had some threads where we're all in the same thread together.
Wow, it's like a star-studded Slack chat here.
Kind of,
there's a super group.
As far as like heavier music, I was really surprised when Rob Flynn would retweet my stuff or respond, but I guess
he's been pretty outspoken too.
He's pretty outspoken, yeah.
Did anybody in like Testament or Alex Skolnick trio ever say anything about the rapping?
Oh, they've like the Testament guys. I mean, they remember me and my friends. Yeah, when I joined that band, I was in high school, and I had a couple friends, and we would make up raps,
about Jimmy Carter and stuff. I don't want to date you. Sorry.
No, I mean this. No, this is definitely Reagan era.
Oh, right.
But no, it wasn't even political. But actually, it's so funny. Eric Peterson remembered one of my raps from way back then that I did with and it was about losing weight.
Can we hear a little bit? A few bars? Spit some bars?
You eat too much. You never stop. You buy all your clothes in a fat man's shop. Your mother's name is Sarah Lee. Your father is Chef Boyardee. Just eat less. Why don't you try it? You won't stop rapping until you go on a diet.
No, this MF spitting right here.
And Eric, he remembered that from way back when. And
did he rap it to you?
No, but he responded online with those when my first rap came out. It was
wow.
I gotcha.
Was there a particular fat person you were talking about? Or?
No, it was just we were just being young and ridiculous. So,
right.
And then it's in the same spirit. I mean, even though I'm actually talking about subjects that get people riled up because it's political, it's kind of in the same spirit, and that's why there's funny sound effect and everything. Even in the first rap video, Trump sucks. I have the line, Kim Jong-un just launched another rocket. And there's the sound effect.
You should do a song about Kim Jong-un going on a diet. He's a little chubby. His mother's name is Chef Boyardee.
I'm looking for subjects. I need some.
I have one I could pitch to you if you want, but it's a little controversial. I think you should reach out to John Schaefer and do a duet where you each try to convince each other of your opposite beliefs. If you could find him, I
think he's a little tied up right now.
You can do it by video.
Hopefully not literally.
Well,
we don't kink shame.
Right,
well, Alex, thank you so.
One last thing from me, Alex. I think we just caught a brief glimpse of your fridge in the background. Could we get a clearer shot of the fridge? I'm just curious what your fridge looks like.
Oh,
I want to make sure it's running.
This is real reporting, not like fake news.
There we go.
Alex, thank you so much for your time like I said, despite our riffs on your
I
rap
know.
songs, we're huge fans, and love
You-
Testament, big fan of Alex Skolnick Trio. So
You're doing your
thanks-
job. You guys have a job to do.
Rob and I
Right,
have
we-
seen Alex Skolnick Trio live in New
Yeah.
York City.
Oh, very
Yeah.
cool.
Did you pay or were you on the guest list?
I don't
No,
know,
we
Rob, did we pay? I don't remember.
Yeah, we paid.
Nice.
I remember when the Anthony Weiner scandal happened, and he said to John, him and John Stewart were friends, and
Mhm.
Right.
John Stewart
They went to, like, summer camp together.
apologized, like, I'm gonna have to go after you, and he said, you have to be John Stewart. That's your job.
Well,
And that actually made me like Anthony Weiner for a second, and then he had
Yeah.
another scandal, and then it's just like,
Yeah, I kept being like, okay,
enough.
maybe because I really liked him as a politician, but then all
Yeah.
this
Me
person-
too.
I was like,
mhm.
yeah, it was a really big bumper because like
and
politically,
I would never
I-
defend. That's the funny thing is like people bring him up and Cuomo and these guys. I would never defend these people. Just because I'm going after the people that I'm going after, I'm not defending him. Yeah, that was ridiculous. I mean, I
Well-
think that kind of cost the election as more than Russians. They had to go back into Hillary's computer because of
Yeah.
this guy, because of his.
It didn't help.
Her
Certainly
aid
the
was his
optics
wife.
were not-
It's just-
You mentioned your high school rapping. I just want to say that like 14-year-old high school version of me is just right now like giddy that we got Alex Skolnick to say wiener twice on a show. It's fantastic.
That's what it's all about.
All right, Alex. Have a great rest of your evening. Thank you so much.
Okay,
for
guys,
hanging out with us.
enjoy the rest of the show.
Fuck Trump.
Cheers.
I mean,
Thanks.
Trump sucks. Sorry, Trump sucks.
There you go.
All right, that was Alex Skolnick. Bless his soul. What a
Wow.
great sport. Follow him on social media at Alex Skolnick. And I was, yeah, that was great. That was really, really good. And what a good sport. And we wish, maybe next week we could have Ivan Moody on and talk to him about all the things.
Are you saying they're like on the same level?
I feel like our list of grievances with Ivan Moody are a bit more personal than with,
Yeah.
with Alex
think
Skolnick. And Alex
so.
Skolnick, like we like Alex Skolnick.
Yeah.
So, but what a guy. That was great.
I still can't. I can't. It's going to take days for me to process that actually really just happened.
Like you
That's
said, it
wild.
was in our chat privately. That's a full circle meme. That's like something from the first year of our show.
Yeah, episode 18.
It's
the
amazing.
first
Sid
time
went
I
back
think it came up.
and listen to that episode today, and please don't go back and judge us for what we say there. 'Cause
Yeah.
Really? What's bad about it?
we're
Well, let's not reel it off. I could if you want me to, but
No,
it's-
no.
You did say that you found the Space Monkey song.
oh
that I
yeah,
was
that's
looking for.
right. So we
Which-
did, which you talked about on this show within the last few months. I believe you
Mhm,
mentioned
yeah.
this band that you liked, that you can't find anything online about them anymore. But in that same episode where we start the whole Alex Skolnick meme, we do Thrash It or Trash It, and you played a Space Monkey song.
Did it get
So you could at
thrashed?
least. I do not recall. I was just fast forwarding, looking for the Skolnick references.
Okay.
But yeah. So at least it exists online in that capacity.
That's cool.
You can
Yeah,
extract the file.
I will look at it. I thought they were very good, but maybe it's my taste. Who knows?
But that episode is crazy. There's Jenny telling the story of her students wanting to touch her feet.
Mm.
There is the caller who called us while he was on PCP. It's
Mm.
a legendary episode. I feel like a lot of those old ones, like there's still stuff that we go back to from those. Because if like I was listening to it for the first time since 2009, and it felt like it happened 6 months ago. Like it
Wow.
felt so fresh and recent. It's crazy.
It's I listen to some of those old shows and like it's a weird sort of balance because it's the content is a lot more raw and stuff like
Mhm.
stuff we wouldn't say now, but I feel like us just the way we interact is exactly the same.
Yep.
Like we have not lost any of that,
For sure.
which I'm proud of.
Yeah, I totally agree. We're pretty great. And really quickly, I want to mention, Darren, you brought it up during the interview. You should check out our Patreon if you like what you hear. You want to hear more. Patreon.com/RIP Livecast. And we have 2 bonus episodes up a month. If you get in there, you get access to all the bonus episodes. We've been doing almost 2 years worth of bonus episodes. It's pretty crazy now. And we just posted an incredible episode, one of our favorite episodes yet, which is our watch along of the Fred Durst directed movie The Fanatic, starring John Travolta. The movie is not fresh. It's not good. It's brutal, but we had a really, really fun time roasting it. One of my favorite roasts. And I do want to mention, as a subscriber to our regular podcast feed, we put our top of the month episode up for free. You can listen to it in the same feed. It would come on right after this episode you're listening to right now. And the episode is our roundtable discussion about all the Matrix movies. We had essentially a full episode where all we did was just discuss all 4 Matrix movies. We talked about how much we love the first one. We talked about thoughts about the second and third one, and we really went into it about the brand new 4th one. And we had varying degrees of not liking it. Where I would say I liked it, but Sid and Darren did not like it. So it was a really fun time. Patreon.com/RIP Alivecast. I also want to mention this is probably going to be the last week that we are going to be posting the episode on metalinjection.net. So if you want to subscribe, like the feed won't change. If so, in your podcast app, if you get us in your podcast app, you'll get it just the way you would. However, if you go to the website to get it, if you go to metalinjection.net/livecast, it will redirect you to our new website, which is ripalivecast.com. So that's where you can just get access to all the archives. The archives are always going to be free. You can listen to them all there. And if you want to send us some feedback, we have a new email address, ripalivecast@gmail.com. That's our address. Let us know what you think. And so as we move on here, I want to talk about an amazing video that I stumbled upon that the YouTube algorithm presented to me, which is a 2020 report for
2020, the show, not the year.
Right. The show 2020, which was a new show on ABC, and it starred Barbara Walters and Hugh Downs. And they did a report on heavy metal in 1987. So to put this into context, 1987, metal is kind of fresh still, relatively fresh on MTV. MTV's only been around for 3 years. So
back in the days when Alex Skolnick was just rapping about fat people.
So I feel like, not much was known about heavy metal. And I think and watching this, it was really mind blowing because of how, I don't know if inaccurate is the term, maybe misleading is the term, because all I kept hearing was, all I kept thinking about was like, well, I know enough about metal to know that this isn't true. So what about when they do news reports on things that I don't know about? What are they saying that's not true as well? And like, well, sure, as we watch it, we'll see. But I think we'll have, like, this is a 17-minute report. I think we're going to have an amazing time watching this. And I would like to watch as much of it as we can get through. But if it gets tiresome, we can move on. But I don't think it will, because there's just so much to roast. So,
oh no,
here we go.
I'm Hugh Downs. And I'm Barbara Walters. And this is 2020.
2020.
Yeah, baby. I honestly got a little nostalgic for this.
Yeah.
She's so spot on to the people that do impressions of her.
Yes.
Downs and Barbara Walters.
When a rocket hit the USS Stark, it was,
and also, like, 2020, I feel it was like the news show in the 80s. Like, everyone watched it. It was in prime time.
And 60 Minutes was the other one.
Right.
I always was a 2020 loyalist.
Yeah, it came out right after TGIF. It was easy to watch.
Is that right?
for certain.
Yeah. Fridays, 8 to 10 would be like the TGIF, and then 10 p.m. would be.
But 2020 was even before the concept of TGIF.
Oh, I don't know.
I believe.
Kinds of kids. Who are they?
Are they misunderstood?
If anything's on my mind, I just go and sit in my room and play some music.
There has been
Yeah.
violence in heavy metal concerts. And
That kid wasn't
statewide,
listening to
it looks
heavy
legal
metal.
for parents who
Oh.
don't understand.
People
It's so funny to me. Like, are they just misunderstood? Like, what do you think these people are going to go? Like, it feels like they really think people are going to listen to heavy metal and then go out and murder people. Like, that's legitimately
Yeah.
what these people.
I mean,
it-
what
it-
these are people who grew up on Perry Como. You know, they
Hmm.
can't really fully conceptualize what Iron Maiden is. You know,
Yeah.
or Judas.
And
Bruce
it's like-
Dickinson, by the way, go ahead.
They're almost there. It's not that you listen to heavy metal and it makes you want to kill people. It's that you're the kind of person that already wants to kill people, and you happen to also like heavy metal because that music appeals to murderers.
Just to be logical.
It doesn't create murderers; it just entertains them between murders.
But
Bruce
when,
Dickinson comes off like Marilyn Manson in Bowling for Columbine. In this
Ah.
documentary.
I just wanted to say, when Sid listens to heavy metal, he does want to murder himself.
Yes,
So that's-
right.
yeah. Murder himself. That's different, though. Oh well, I guess that's what they're worried about.
Yeah,
say
that's
that we're a
suicide.
negative influence.
We let the kids explain it. Storm Phillips reports. the
Oh,
children of
Storm.
heavy metal-
Look at
Oh,
this
Stone.
graphic.
Whoa!
I didn't even know Stone Phillips was on ABC. I thought he was
Oh,
a
yeah.
strictly NBC
Have you
Dateline
heard
kind of
of
guy.
heavy metal music? We're going to be talking about that next.
Like, that's so crazy. Have you heard of heavy metal music? Like it was a thing people haven't heard of in 1987.
Yeah,
I
we're
guess
not
now-
talking about 1977. I mean, it's been around by this point quite a while.
I was just saying, while you logged off for a moment, I do think that in the mainstream, it is relatively fresh. MTV is only 3 years old. You
And
know,
it's not
so,
like they played a ton of heavy metal really early on.
Yeah, so in the mainstream, you could see how like most people don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Mhm. Especially Baba
You see
Wow.
the young fans
Yeah.
who love it. Some parents are frightened by what they think it does to their children.
What would it
Tonight,
do?
Stone Phillips lets the kids explain it. The children of heavy metal. Right after this.
At least they went and talked to the kids, though.
That's the best part.
Heavy
Is these
metal
kids.
music. What kinds of kids? are
Usually they
into
do
it?
these
Does
things.
it really
It's like they're talking to scared parents and shit and teachers.
Yeah, it's a very interesting report for what the kids are saying and how they interpret what they're saying.
Look at that freeze frame.
Rob, could I
I've
make
been
a
out of
suggestion?
control.
Play this at 1.25 speed. Better chance of us getting through all of it. I'm
Don't
not
with
saying it because I don't want
fans
to
who
see it. I'm just
explain it
saying
to parents.
I want to
who
make sure we
hate
get all of it.
the
And put some
children
Benny
of
Hill
heavy
music on.
metal.
Yeah.
When 2020 continues.
Oh, there's no ad.
promos.
When a form of music that our children like becomes linked with ghoulish images and violent theatrics and even suicide, it demands our attention.
It's like, how is it linked to suicide?
Somebody.
Somebody's sued for it because they thought, it hasn't been linked to suicide.
It's a
Like
scapegoat.
that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the
Perhaps
word
more than
link
the-
is doing a lot of the lifting there.
Yeah.
Like, what does that
The
actually
children
mean?
need our attention.
So is
Hundreds of
Barbara
thousands
Walters'
of
surgeon.
teenagers are locked onto so-called heavy metal music. Are they despairing? What are their common bonds? And as Stone Phillips asks, is there a message that may be too loud for us to hear?
We should have kept Alex on for
Well,
this.
I love the melodrama here.
She's the queen of that shit.
Is the
Yeah.
message too loud for us to hear?
She's the American Sharon Osbourne. 100%.
What is this garbage you're watching? I want to watch the news. Good evening. It was rock and roll turned ugly.
A rock riot in New Jersey tops the local news.
There were
Rock
nearly
and
3
roll.
dozen arrests, and the state
Wait,
trooper
Chubby
was
Checker
injured.
was there?
Post-concert fight captures the headlines.
The hockey
A
top
parking lot
man?
disturbance at one arena.
This was at Meadowlands, right
Mm.
after Iron Maiden show at the Meadowlands, a famed venue, is right outside Giant Stadium.
I'm sure that no concerts featuring other genres ever experienced.
Yeah,
a
there's
riot.
never been any riots. Rolling Stones never had a riot, famously stopped by Hell's Angels.
Concert fight.
Well,
captures the
started by,
headlines.
not stopped.
Started
Parking
by.
lot disturbance at
Well,
one arena.
started
leads
and
police
stopped.
to mobilize an
Nice.
army at the group's next
I
stop.
started it. I'm gonna end it.
That's right.
Issue the impact of this loud, raucous music, heavy metal music, played here by the supergroup Iron Maiden.
The other thing I thought about here too is like for Iron Maiden and Megadeth, like what great exposure! You're on fucking ABC.
Yeah.
Like they're telling, like if you're a kid watching this, they're telling you like your parents are going to be afraid of this music.
Mhm.
Like this is the best.
Sure. PR.
Also, for those listening, I do want to say we are speeding up this video. That's why all the music and everything sounds a little faster.
Flamboyant bands, lyrics obsessed with sex, Satanism, and even suicide.
Like, I'm sorry, lyrics obsessed with sex. Isn't all music lyrics obsessed with sex? Like every genre back to like the early 1900s.
But like 80s R&B didn't have songs like "Fuck Like a Beast," so it was just once again, it's like the difference between Reagan and Trump. Metal was just more literal in their obsession.
I don't know. I'm sure there's plenty of literal R&B songs from the 70s and disco songs.
Name one.
I'll look some up. I can't.
What about Tutti Frutti? Isn't that like about anal sex or whatever?
But does he say "I want to fuck you in the ass" in it?
He said it in those like the club versions before they put it on the radio.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a very explicit, very explicit. If you look it up, look up the old lyrics to Tutti Frutti.
Well, kids in the 80s weren't really rocking Little Richard that much, so
No, I'm saying, but
didn't have to.
like Rob's saying, what before this? When was it about sex? You know, and Iron Maiden, very sexually charged band.
Yeah, when I think sex, I think Iron Maiden and Megadeth.
Yeah.
Bands, lyrics obsessed with sex, Satanism, and even suicide. This is not mainstream rock and roll. It's the music of today's teen rebellion. What's it about?
Togetherness, man. We got to stick together and fight, man. We got to fight. Fight for
Nice
our
diverse
rights,
squad there.
Also, first of all, I love this answer. I love these kids who are probably older than we are, and
Probably my age. I'm my age. I was 13 when this happened. So,
and also the accents here, because obviously they're in the Northeast. Just going to be amazing. But yeah, like the kids are the best part of this because it's like, no, we're just fucking some fucked up kids. You know, like we're fine.
Yeah.
Right, man. Listen to our music and party, man.
As metal mania grows, so does the heavy metal debate.
I think it's time, as Frank Zappa was saying, if your kid comes home with an album with a guy with a chainsaw between his legs, you better find out what that music is talking about.
Critics say there's something seriously wrong with metal music.
Frank
Outrageous by
Zappa said
design.
that?
I want to point out now, so like as he's saying, critics are saying there's something seriously wrong with metal music. They're showing all the awesome Iron Maiden album art, which again, if you're a kid, you're like, whoa, I need to check everything out. Yeah.
I think what Frank Zappa said, by the way, is that like parents should, he's distorting it. Like parents are complaining that kids are listening to all this stuff, but why aren't you on top of what your kid's listening to?
Yeah. Like I think that now I remember the interview is like, hey, do you think kids should be listening to your music? And he says, well, I don't think it's up to me. I think parents, if they see a kid bring home a album of whatever, they should see what it's about. That's what he was saying, which I think is a reasonable thing. If you don't want your kids fucking listening to it, you should pay attention to what they're fucking doing.
Case by case.
Critics say there's something seriously wrong with metal music, outrageous by design, that it may have contributed to a number of teenage suicides, like the ones in Bergenfield, New Jersey, March 11th. 4 young people died in a suicide pact. A heavy metal cassette box was found at the scene. Later that same week, reporters...
I feel like this is the type of story...
Wait a minute. Hold on. We're talking about a 4-person suicide pact, and the reporter here's last name is Barry?
Oh.
B-U-R-Y? Are you fucking kidding me?
Wow.
I'm blown away that like this would be liable nowadays if the news were to try to make a
liable or libel?
Libel.
Or both.
Maybe liable for libel.
We're at the scene of another
I think you got to send someone else and tell Chris Berry to sit this one out.
Unbelievable. The most metal name of any reporter ever, other than maybe Stone Phillips. Who's the other guy on this? Like they've
Murder von Hatchetface covering this story, this tragic story.
A heavy metal cassette box was found at the scene. Later that same week, reporters were at the scene of another suicide case in Illinois.
In this case, music may also be involved. Her family says Nancy Grannon was obsessed by lyrics from the rock band Metallica, lyrics she wrote down.
I have lost.
Well, I mean, this I understand. Like when we did our listen along to the Metallica cover album, I did want to kill myself. So yes, I guess you could say no.
Well, you know what she did? She made a mixtape where she listened to 8 of the versions of the exact same song over and over, and over again. Each song 8 times, and that made her kill herself.
Oh.
He says Nancy Grannon was obsessed by lyrics from the rock band Metallica, lyrics she wrote down.
I have lost the will to live. Simply nothing more to give. I will just say goodbye.
So before
Goodbye.
Metallica,
Hang up on that fuck.
before Metallica, nobody has ever written a song about suicide. and just by listening to a song about suicide, you will want to kill yourself. That is what what?
Well, none of these people ever seem to acknowledge that, like, people who are suicidal because of their shitty life that they live with you go out and seek a song about suicide. It's not the other way around. Like, they're drawn to it because someone's finally relating to them, unlike your shitty parenting and brothering that you.
It's exactly like what I was saying before about the murderers. The murderers seek out that music because they're already murderers. The suicidal people seek out music that just, it's the same exact thing.
Did you ever see Dead Poets Society?
Yes.
This reminds me of that. Like the kid, spoiler alert for Dead Poets Society. It's been out 35 years, but just in case. One of the kids kills himself, and the very next day the parents are like, suing the school and suing the teacher and all this stuff. Because really he killed himself because his parents were fucking assholes. And the parents immediately go into denial mode. That's what this is. All these that's what these segments are all for. These shitty parents that don't. And
then spoiler alert: the teacher ends up killing himself also way later on.
Oh, how dare you!
I mean, he did. Was it because of that movie?
Maybe. I mean, maybe he listened to some Metallica 47 times in a row too.
Oh, well, he's from Northern California too, so yeah.
Oh, jeez. R.I.P. a legend. What is this freeze frame now?
Yeah, let's go around.
Like Ali Sheedy or something.
Criticizes a song by Ozzy Osbourne.
Lindsay Lohan and Freaky
no, this picture
by Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh my God! Wait, does he have boogers?
Criticizes a song by Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh no, I think it's the lighting hitting the back of his mouth.
Okay, yeah.
No, I think that's just residue, cocaine residue still in there.
Form little posts.
It could be any of the above.
Pills.
Teen suicide in California.
Consider now for yourself.
Kenneth Keith McCollum back. This doesn't seem that bad.
Wait, hold on.
Copyright strike. Suicide.
That might be why.
That's not that bad. Come on.
Hold
on. It might have been cut out on the video.
Yeah.
The video
I thought there was something with my computer. I see what you're saying.
I think
the
video
got playing Ozzy.
Yeah.
So just skip ahead to the.
I see. So they're playing Suicide Solution. Mm-hmm. But isn't the whole song?
The music has prompted pickets.
Isn't it what?
Burnings, even
about how you. It's anti-suicide.
Right, but they're not doing that much research. They're just like, they just look at the.
That's what I'm saying. It's like they're doing so little research about this topic where we know the truth. Like it makes me question. Like, what about these things? What about when they do a topic on like some important science thing? Like, they could be just as off, as reporting only half the story, and nobody would be the wiser.
The failing news media, the lying CNN.
The music has prompted pickets, record burnings, even congressional hearings, where a call for record companies to print lyrics on album covers as a guide for concerned parents.
On covers?
Debate over censorship.
That's excessive.
Yeah.
Well, look at this, Karen.
If I met Tipper Gore in real life, I'd be like, "Hey, why the long face?"
Damn, I never knew. That's points to you for spotting Tipper Gore. I never knew really. I wouldn't have known immediately what she looked like.
Oh yeah, from so many music documentaries. That's
exactly.
The only reason I know her.
To debate over censorship.
I certainly know her and her exploits, but I wouldn't have spotted her face like that.
Founder of the Parents Music Resource Center.
Parents should realize that we have explicit and graphic sex, extreme violence, suicide in lyrics that is going to children that are sometimes not even teenagers yet and young teenagers.
I mean, that's why it annoys the hell out of me that people are saying that we're a negative influence. I just wish people would get a sense of proportion about what's right and wrong.
Amazing photo of Slayer.
Who are the real people that are poisoning people's minds and why are they doing it? We say things to people that mean something. I mean, in our own little way that kids can relate to.
Preach.
Just think, the Supreme Court denied that woman a chance to be the first lady of the United States.
What a missed opportunity. What a smart lady.
Now, SOD, that album I can get behind banning.
That album, it is very problematic.
I'm kidding about banning. I don't think even problematic things should be banned, but it's pretty hard.
It does not hold up. Musically, it holds up.
Yeah, it's fun, but it's just. But I think they were even doing it stupidly. Like they knew.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They espoused that stuff. but it's just not good to do.
Little Testament.
What are these heavy metal rockers saying to kids? And why are millions of teenage Americans listening? To find out,
'Cause it
we went
rules?
backstage at this heavy metal concert to meet Iron Maiden. And we went back to school to meet the kids who go to heavy metal concerts, who belong to the heavy metal crowd. Kids like these with hormones popping.
Are they
Much
playing
like
Ring
the
Around the Rosie?
kids who will be our
Hormones
guides into a
popping.
world most adults are strangers to.
You better cut that
It's
video
like-
quick if it's on
And
ABC.
honestly, like that's so fucking like it looks like they're fighting, but they're just, they probably were like, hey kids, why don't you mosh around for the camera?
Yeah, do
You
like
know what I
people
mean?
raised in the 40s not know what horseplay is? Like they're just goofing
Yeah.
around. The
In
fuck,
Skolnic,
it's
New Jersey,
harmless.
a school with a reputation for excellence. But like just about every other high school in America,
Look at that
Skolnic
members
High
only
has its own
jacket.
group of so-called tough kids, hoods, or burnouts. Some into drinking or drugs.
This is where when I was watching this, I was like, okay, before I was like, maybe we should watch this, but when he did this intro, I was like, no, we gotta watch this.
Bro,
Like,
look at that Brazzers freeze frame you got there.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, nothing stone about that mouth.
That's like 3 seconds from the nut shot.
Skolnic High has its own group of
Episode
so-called
title,
tough kids,
probably
hoods, or burnouts.
Is that
Some
legal?
into
to-
drinking or
I mean,
3 seconds from the nut shot with Alex Skolnick. That'll go over real well.
Burnouts. What? Like he's calling these people he's interviewing burnouts and hoods.
drugs. Others who aren't into much of anything at all, except heavy metal music.
you got a Cosby
It's
sweater, the
against the
members
rules to
only
play
jacket.
music in the
You shouldn't
hall.
be talking about anybody else.
Yeah,
The
seriously.
Skolnic High, so it's hard to tell here just who belongs to the heavy metal crowd and who doesn't. But after school, Skolnic's heavy metal contingent is hard to miss. Meet Alan, Mike, Nassim, and Melissa, 4 devoted heavy metal fans.
Yeah.
This is it. This is the hot stuff.
This is the hot stuff.
Alan, turn it off for a
No,
second
that's
so we can talk.
I love
Stop.
like this is the hot stuff. Turn it off for a second.
No Stone. That's Donna Summer. This is something else.
SOD? Stormtroopers of Death. What does that mean? Stormtroopers of Death.
I love that. Like, well, what does that mean? Like, I don't fucking know. Like,
Yeah.
we're
I
not
didn't
thinking
name the
about what
fucking band.
Yeah, like
It's
what?
from Star Wars, dipshit. Now move on. Next question.
The lead
please.
singer lives like 3 blocks from here. Go knock on his door and ask him, what are you bothering me for?
Hey, look, Mike Zakarian. That was the 5th System of a Down member.
Me down. If anything's on my mind, I just go and sit in my room and play some music and just sit down and think.
And you can sort of drown out the world that way.
Yeah.
It calms me down.
For the most part, these kids are not star athletes or straight A students.
Hey.
Most don't
Jeez.
belong to any high school clubs or hang out with the popular crowd.
They're all
Often they feel
potential
like
school
outcasts.
shooters.
It's like, what, can you imagine? Like, what a dick! It's like they don't. Who
These
cares
are the
about the popular crowd?
losers.
Look, they have their own crew. They're all friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're
Like, fuck
popular
off.
with their friends. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like they don't
Is that your
fit
friend
in,
Nick?
especially in the classroom.
It's like, some people don't want to go to college. They want to do something else. I mean, once you get out of high school, you figure that you've been in
That
school long
guy,
enough.
no way that
you don't
guy's
spend any
14.
more time.
Oh, someone gave him the horns. Did you see that?
Flipping through albums, talking metal music with their friends. The music is what brings them together. It's their way of belonging. Their rooms a retreat from school and from cliques they can't relate to.
They got preps in there. They got the nerds, and they got.
Okay, that guy's a teamster. That ain't no
guys
fucking
Yeah,
high
he's in
school.
his early 40s.
Yeah. How is this guy 15? Fuck out of
It's
here.
weird. Anytime I see footage from the 80s, the people all look 20 years older than their
Yeah.
actual age. It was such a rough decade for just physical appearance in general. God damn.
He's just like, yeah, just, you know what I'm saying? I'm listening to some fucking AC/DC while I protect your kids from drinking piss from the fucking water fountain.
It's exactly that. Yeah. Oh my God.
10,000 like multicolored shirts, and like those idiots over there, and they go and play frisbee in the middle of the field.
What the fuck? You using a fucking field to play fucking sports with?
And always believe
Fuck
the
outta
sounds from
here.
the heavy metal crowd were just a cover.
Uh-oh.
Instead of people just ignoring them, saying they're heavy metal kids, they need some support. They need some people to
This
inspire
Temple
them.
Grandin?
Some people to look up to. I think being a teenager is really lonely.
They do have people to look up to. Fucking James Hetfield from Metallica and Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden and Karen.
Oh, man.
Time.
That's how you really feel.
You don't know.
But I mean, this part that she says is true.
I think being a teenager is a really lonely time. You don't know who to trust. Maybe when you grow up it's the same thing. But right now, I mean, I've never felt lonelier, and I think a lot of teenagers feel that way.
I think Stone is leaning in a little too hard.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's like, are you really lonely?
This may be a crossover episode with Chris Hansen.
That's fucking right.
Look at there's the
Things like
reaction
nuclear
shot of her
annihilation.
face.
This song by the group Megadeth is about nuclear war.
Yeah.
Like, you talk about the future and everything, and like there might not ever be a future because they're still making all these weapons and everything. And I think about peace a lot.
But make no mistake, this is not the summer of
Cells
love.
is about nuclear
Folk
war.
music is not their thing.
There's a group called Motley Crue that's very popular with kids. They have an album that has sold 2 million copies with lyrics like this, quote, "Not a woman, but a whore. I can taste the hate. Well, now I'm killing you. Watch your face turning blue." Unquote.
And that's just what he says to his friends that he's driving to buy a drink. Fucked up.
And also, it's like a lot of people didn't listen to Motley Crue, but like Motley Crue was kind of over at this point.
No, they were
about that.
huge in
They
'87.
say
What are you
parents pay
talking
more
about?
attention to the lyrics than they do. Those kind of songs don't.
That was when
You
Girls
don't think it says the wrong kind of thing.
Yeah, it does. We shouldn't say, like, bad things about what women do, just like putting them down. It's like not all songs talk about that, though. So you just avoid the music that you don't like. That's all.
How are these 16-year-olds coming off better than fucking Tipper Gore? You know what I mean?
It's a low bar, like we were talking about before. It's a
Songs
very
about
low bar.
Satanism and suicide. The kids in Teaneck say they were shocked by the suicides in Bergenfield, the town next door. But they still think it's wrong to blame the music.
Why didn't we kill ourselves yet? Because we listen to the same thing. And if the music.
I was
doesn't
wondering the
kill
same thing,
themselves,
Mike.
why
Why
didn't
haven't
we?
you killed yourself yet?
Kill yourself,
Can we get a follow up? Maybe he did kill himself.
Oh, that's after this aired. He's like, God damn, I look like I'm 46.
Actually, that's what Barbara Walters says. Shortly after this was recorded.
Well, this is 30 years ago. He's like almost 50 now, and he's probably looks 75. So.
Oh my God, seriously.
It's a song. You're not gonna go out and do it, unless you got real bad problems and everything. It's like not the music that's gonna kill you. It's yourself.
Music journalist Charles.
Honestly,
Young
if
has
we're
written about the
taking
heavy-
lyrics from the 80s that literally, like Lionel Richie had a song called Dancing on the Ceiling. If you tried to do that, you'd break your fucking neck and actually die.
It's true.
Nobody's yelling about Lionel Richie.
He wrote a love song to his daughter,
Oh, no.
who, by the way, is Nicole Richie.
But adopted, so it's okay.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's like, listen, and Woody Allen was doing it.
He went the legal
metal
route. He
culture
married her.
and believes it may be healthy in a way.
Heavy metal speaks to the anger and despair of teenagers today, the same way that
Look at that computer. Amazing.
Yeah.
Also, finally, they have someone like reason, like a rational adult.
Well, look at him. That's a fake. He's wearing a fake mustache. Why? What's he hiding?
Well, he was a stunt double for Rob Reiner on All in the Family. Now he's out of work.
And then he got addicted to heroin. He looks like a junkie meathead.
the blues used to speak to the despair and anger.
Yeah, the real Rob Reiner
of
blew
black
up, and he went the opposite direction.
Yeah.
people in the South. Without heavy metal, there would probably be a lot more suicides because metal and certain other forms of rock give teenagers something to believe in that they get no place else.
Yeah.
Basically, Teaneck's metal fans feel adults just overreact to the music, don't understand it or give it a chance. Like the teenager in this music video, they feel themselves constantly colliding with the adult
Wait
world.
a minute. What video is that?
Yeah, I have no idea.
If it's
I've never
too
seen
loud,
that
you're
before.
too old.
This
Take
guy
Jay's
rules.
father, for example. He never shared his son's devotion to the music, never quite understood, as Jay transformed himself into a heavy metal aficionado at age 5.
I kept telling myself that I had to appreciate his music, and I would listen to it. It lasted about 30 seconds, and then I'd yell, turn it down. But seriously, I have no objection to what music he likes to listen to. And if
Would you?
What?
Turn it down. Would I turn it down? No.
I mean,
turn
if
it
he
up.
plays it a little too loud,
up!
if he plays it too loud, I break his other arm. That's all there is to it.
So great. That was like a heavy metal parking lot moment.
I turn it up. Louder.
I don't know what heavy metal is really like. Could it be worse than
Can I give
like who?
Alan's
boy.
mom tolerates the heavy metal culture, or tries to.
If it's like the music that you listen to.
Yeah, he played guitar.
And the music is mild compared to this. This is called moshing, a dance popular among the metal crowd. At times, it looks more like a contact sport.
Amazing.
And what about this? Stage diving, a common occurrence at heavy metal concerts all over the country. Jay broke his wrist stage diving a few months ago.
Duh.
Fellow fans insist they look out for one another.
You don't want to get hurt. Everybody
Hold on,
has
pause
a
it.
kind of brotherhood.
Listen,
Ah,
you little
what a
shit.
great
You
pause.
tell him you broke your fucking wrist
Yeah.
stage diving whenever you're on camera, all right?
Really? That's what happens when he doesn't turn it down.
Also, it's so crazy to think now, like stage diving happens at fucking like Coachella or what, like you know, the most hippie events now. Like it's so mainstream. And like in 1987, this was a foreign concept to the mainstream.
I remember when I saw Lollapalooza one of those years and Wu-Tang was there and they were stage diving. It was like, yo, motherfuckers is crazy. Yo, motherfuckers is crazy.
That, it's amazing that you brought that up. I swear to God, episode 18, where we talk about Alex Skolnick, you tell that fucking story.
Wow, really?
I don't even remember how it came up, but you tell the story of Method Man freaking out at Lollapalooza about how crazy the white people were.
It's true. That's what he was doing.
So many full circle moments tonight. This is fucking wild.
I swear I didn't listen back to that.
They look out for one another.
You don't want to get hurt. Everybody's got like a little kind of brotherhood. No one wants to get hurt. Everybody keeps their arms down. It's trust. It's looks. I have to admit, when I first saw it, I got scared. But it's not. I'm all sweaty, but it's fun.
Still, some counseling groups say heavy
Yeah,
metal is
you
out
are
of
sweaty.
control.
Get away from
They
me.
advocate a tough stance with rules to de-metal kids, impose a dress code, tear down posters, and turn off the stereos.
Wait, let's go back. Let's see if we can read this whole list.
That's
Out of control and advocate a tough stance.
Do not dress in any style that represents punk or heavy metal.
Capitalized punk.
Nice.
Do not
Proper
wear hair, dye, or cut in any style that represents punk rock or heavy metal. Do not associate with any punk rock or heavy metal, punk rockers or heavy metalers. Do not wear any punk rock or heavy metal accessories, earrings, or jewelry, spikes, or studs. Do not frequent any place where punk rock or heavy metal is
main interest.
Main interest. Thank you. Do not listen to punk rock or
I
heavy metal
love,
music.
I love that that's number 6.
Do not write, draw, or something.
Use vocabulary.
Use vocabulary or
hand gesture.
Hand gesture. By the way, to our audio listeners, it's not that I'm, reading at a first grade level. It's very blurred. That's
Small
why
and blurry. Yeah.
Both things can be true.
Oh, come
That was Rob's nickname in high school. Small and blurry.
What's the last one? Do not
Possess or display any punk rock or heavy metal material or posters.
I thought it said posture.
I mean, there's already another rule that mentions posters. Why do they need to cover that twice? But the music thing is only mentioned once.
The music isn't the real. That's the culture shit.
You come home late, they start bitching at you and everything, or clean your room, or take the dog out, or something like that, You can't go home with them and, tell them to go to hell. So keep all your anger and stuff.
Okay.
It's a young Timothy Chalamet.
Can I get an earring? It's like, I'll kill you. I'll rip out your ear. It's like he said, I'll kick you out of the house, get your name changed, spaghetti. And then I was like, what's so wrong about having an earring? There's nothing wrong with that. Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Look, he's a girl. He's a girl. Only girls wear that. Who says?
I gotta say, when I was a kid, I don't know about you guys, in Brooklyn, there were a good amount of black kids with thick, hardcore, like Brooklynese, Italian-sounding accents.
Oh,
And
sure.
I feel like I never see that anymore, like walking around.
Yeah, no.
It's just weird
I'm
how
okay
that
with that.
disappeared.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool. I thought it was a way of showing the diversity of the place that I lived. Like everyone just sort of was different in their own way, but also assimilated and got along, and their accents would intermix with each other. And now it seems like everyone's way more into their own niche now. Everybody, not just black people.
The 80s. We asked her where she thinks parents should draw the line.
I advocate a system where people can make up their own minds according to their own values and their own assessment of where their child is on the developmental spectrum.
Wants to listen to this, will you let her?
To heavy metal music?
I love how caught off guard you. What? To heavy metal?
First of all, didn't he ask her about her niece? Is that what so how does she have authority to tell her niece what to listen to?
Did he say niece or daughter?
No, daughter, I think.
Oh, okay. I guess I heard wrong.
Values and their own assessment of where their child is on the developmental spectrum.
Wants to listen to this, will you let her?
Sorry.
To heavy metal music? I'm not sure. It would depend on what group.
Oh my God.
She's like, well, if it's Megadeth, sure, but I don't want any of that Metallica crap in my household.
Deicide, hard maybe.
The Iron Maiden group, one of the best known among more than
The Iron
1,500 heavy
Maiden
metal
group.
bands, is a worldwide phenomenon.
That was what they replaced the McLaughlin group with. They just had Bruce Dickinson and the whole band on a panel. Issue 1.
Where their fans look and act the same. Rock promoter John
Oh,
What happened?
do we remember this guy?
No.
No, think. Where have you seen him before?
What's his name?
That concerts now is vastly different.
Oh, he's the old guy from that movie that we watched.
He's the
From
Woodstock guy.
Yeah.
He's the douchebag from the Woodstock movie.
Wow.
Look at him.
Rock promoter John Scher.
What happens at concerts now is vastly different than the scene that surrounded concerts in the 60s and 70s. It's become a almost tribal kind of gathering place. It has a lot more to do with socialization than it does just the music.
When Maiden played this year at the Meadowlands in New Jersey, we went with our group from Teaneck.
When you're part of a crowd, you are incredibly powerful, and there's no drug.
Also, how cool
there's
is
nothing
this?
that,
I'm
that can cause
assuming
that feeling of ignorance.
that the new show got all these kids Iron Maiden tickets.
Yeah, that's
Like,
fucking great.
I would be so stoked as a kid. Like, hey, can we interview you about Iron Maiden and then take you to an Iron Maiden concert? Okay, sure.
Do you imagine that conversation with their parents though? To like, 2020 wants to take us on a field trip. Oh, that's great. Where are you going? This band that you fucking hate and you want to disown me over?
That band that we just talked to you about that's evil and making your kids kill themselves, we're going to go take your kids to see them. Is that cool? Sure.
Don't worry.
Whatever gets them out of the house.
When the concert was over, we took them backstage. They got autographs from some of the
Wow.
band members.
Unreal.
We talked to one of their idols, Maiden's Bruce Dickinson. We asked him what he says when critics accuse heavy metal of inciting outrageous, even sick behavior.
You mean like selling arms to Iran? Or you mean like, all these guys doing insider...
Reagan.
Cow!
Dumping toxic waste
Tell-
everywhere, because they wear
Tell
suits and
Alex
ties.
Skolnick that, like Bruce just said.
It's okay.
Contra,
They're not sick.
Contras.
Where else can these kids go where they come somewhere and they all feel a sense of, this is our thing,
Dickinson acknowledges, though, that heavy metal kids may be telling us something about how they feel pushed out and put down, about their needs, and about how they're coping with the pressures teenagers face today, from family breakups to drugs.
And maybe if you listen, you might understand a little of what he's trying to go through, and then you might understand why he likes things, why he doesn't like things, and ultimately you find out that he's a good kid after all.
But if it's a girl, don't let her listen to our music.
Yeah.
It's hostile music. And these are kids who seem to feel that the world out there is hostile to them. So much of it is a matter of self-esteem. But the music itself isn't what does them harm.
No, even the critics that we talk to, among them, none says that the music alone is going to cause a child.
How is this 17 minutes into this fucking piece? That this should be 1 minute into this piece.
Well, they had to explore the whole both sides of the story, Rob.
Yeah.
For instance, I think the point is talking to these teenagers who are into heavy metal music, that they're not necessarily looking for a heavy discussion with parents or teachers about the meaning of their music. But the point is,
No, they just
tune
want to
in
blast
and
metal.
let it be known that whether you like the music or not, it matters because the kids matter.
Not necessarily. Look, I can guarantee you, sir, they're not at all looking for that heavy discussion with their parents. They're looking forward to that, like looking forward to eating the broccoli on their plate that they're forced to eat.
Maybe if it's covered in cheese.
No, not me.
No.
Never liked that shit.
Juderino asks, when was the last time you guys stage dove or crowd surfed?
Me, stage dive, never. Crowd surfed sort of by accident. I was taken up against my will once. But I'm not a fan of that.
Where was this?
Bit
What
of
was
that kind of
who
sharing?
did that to you?
I can't remember. I couldn't tell you what band it was.
Was it friends that did it, or just like randos?
It was like a
picked you up?
combination of friends egging me on and then randos participating and lifting me.
Okay.
Because I was a big kid. I was probably like 220 growing up. And I wish I could tell you, but I definitely was drunk off my gourd. So I don't really remember. I was probably 16 or 17. Couldn't tell you.
Oh, you survived, thank goodness.
But yeah, thank you. And I'm not a fan of that shit. I'm not a fan of crowd surfing. I'm against other people even really doing it because I just think it's I mean, if they want to go up there, fine. I advise against it because it's a good way to, especially women.
I think it's
grope and
needlessly
shit.
dangerous.
Yes,
Beyond the groping, the people standing there can break their necks.
Sure.
You land on somebody wrong, and it's not fair to that. Yeah. So the last time I stage dove was like 20 years ago when Sid would do his temple shows, and there was a show where I don't know how, but I ended up on stage and I stage dove and crowd surfed, and like it lasted all of 5 minutes. I'm obviously way too
5
much of a
minutes.
giant. Wait, 5 seconds. I mean,
Yeah, Jesus.
I'm way too big of
Wow.
a giant to do it for any longer.
What did you do with your cigarette girl tray with the waters and the sodas on it? Did you put it down somewhere?
I think I had someone with me, so I
Was it
knew
your sister, maybe?
Yeah, my sister was probably there, so she was.
Oh,
watching
she
the
was
stage.
in on these. I never knew that. It's not
She
part of
came
the
hang
story.
out sometimes.
But was she partake in the selling of the drinks?
Yeah, she like sit with me and like hang out. Yeah. But
I thought you walked around with like a tray of drinks. You had a
No, I had
stand?
I had like
You just
a
had like
stand,
a little like
table.
folding table.
I had like an
Oh.
ECW table.
I've had the
And
wrong
then-
mental image this whole time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did anyone ever go through the table?
Well, actually, a friend of the show, Jay Miller.
Uh-huh.
I think we talked about this when he was on the
Yeah.
show, but I'll quickly tell the story again. He was very upset that I was charging $1.50 for water.
Yeah, he was
thought I
against
should
the
only-
markup.
He thought I should only charge $1 for water.
Uh-huh.
And this was enough that like one time when they were performing, he stormed towards my stand and got on top of the stand and tried to do everything in his power to break the table, but it was like a Japanese table and it wouldn't break.
And also, he weighs like 95 pounds. He's
Yeah.
a very lanky gentleman.
Yes. Wayfish, would you say?
Scrawny motherfucker. All right, well, that's our show for this week, and it was a good one.
Just that video, man. It just goes to show you that like every generation has boomers. Like there's always someone's going to complain about something that younger kids are doing.
Yeah,
the people complaining in that video were literally boomers.
Right.
So
Those same people are now complaining about zillennials, but call them millennials.
Yeah, I like to call them Zoomers.
Zoomers is good.
The
Yeah,
Gen- the Gen
Zoomers
Z.
and Boomers really have a lot in common. Like don't know how to work a VCR. That's a big one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about our top Livecast fans of the week. Every
What
week.
about our
every
playlist
week.
picks?
Oh, our playlist picks. Let's do that first. We do a playlist. It's called the RIPL Livecast Music Break. You can find it on Spotify. Every week, we each pick a song, and we hope you listen to it and enjoy it. And this week, my song is from a band that sadly broke up this week. Every Time I Die. I'm not a fan of that. I don't know what's going on with them. They got some band drama.
Damn.
They should save that for their mama. I think. Well, aren't they all related? So they all have the same mama. Makes
Well,
sense.
two of them are related.
All right, good enough. Go on.
I picked the New Black from Every Time I Die. Great band. Sid, what did you pick?
Problematic song title?
No.
Okay. Well, thinking about Testament, I remembered back in high school, I used to go to my friend Frankie's house all the time. He had a younger sister. She had a friend who was really into Testament. And my friend Frankie would always make fun of her for being into Testament, and she would make fun of him back for being into Rocket from the Crypt. And so I obviously am on one specific side of that divide. So I picked one of my favorite Rocket from the Crypt songs, the song Ditch Digger, which is also a highlighted section of Alex Skolnick's LinkedIn page.
Darren, what did you pick?
I picked the Testament song because I thought we were going to come on and maybe, hopefully not, but maybe say some controversial, mean things to Alex Skolnick. And I wanted to also balance that by truthfully saying that I'm a huge fan of Testament, at least a big part of their discography. And I in no way question his skills as a musician. I think he's awesome. So I played Perilous Nation from the Practice What You Preach album, which I think is one of my favorite Testament songs.
So see, they even thought the nation was perilous back then.
Mm-hmm. It was because not enough people were aware of and loved Ronald Reagan, though, and how great he was. And
Fucking bootlicking band. Sad.
sorry.
So we want to talk about our top Livecast fans of the week. Every week, we give a shout out to these lovely people who are on our Patreon. And, we talked about the $5 tier earlier. If you want to get a shout out at the end of the show, it's the $10 tier. It's everything you get for the $5 tier, plus this little shout ski. Nice little hey, hey, ho, ho. How should we do the shout outs this week, fellas?
I think it's pretty clear you should do it as Barbara Walters.
Go for it.
I can't do a Barbara Walters impression. I'm not good at it.
You could try.
Just to change all your R's to W's. That's all it is.
I would like to give a shout out to Eric.
Why
is she British?
Benjamin. She's kind of like a proper.
She does.
Proper accent.
It's like 75% British.
El Dudowino.
There you go.
Dan Ow. Sam I Am. Mindy Mayo Skipper.
Mayo.
Jandow. Wabaganoosh, a.k.a. Justin. Shasusets. Waba Vampiro. Hugo likes tacos. LaQuoit. Corey and Scotty H. Doug Pigman. Who gave Wob the hickey? Douglas, who are you? Levison. Hey guys, it's Josh.
Did you say Lando Danks and LaCroix?
LaQuoit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Breastfeeding and farts.
I'll give it.
By the way, this week, just in case anyone's wondering, RIP stands for Reagan invented patriotism.
That's a great one. I also wanted to add a few more things that Zoomers and Boomers have in common. You guys ready?
Sure.
Really hate millennials.
Mm-hmm.
Very heavily medicated.
Mm-hmm.
Proudly wear fur.
Oh, I didn't realize Zoomers are like
Well, furries. Furries.
Oh, I see.
And they all really love the show Euphoria. Very strange.
Boomers do as well?
Sure, why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.
We love you.
Bye.